All right, guys. So today we are going to be exploring our mental health and how our mental and physical well-being are really very intricately connected. So in the poll that I put up last week, I just got a couple of votes and actually one for like three different topics. So I just picked one. So this is one we're going to be working on today, and we're going to be seeing how, really struggles with our mental health can have a significant impact on our physical health. So, mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It does affect how we think and act, just like our physical health. Mental health can also fluctuate throughout our lives. As far as physical health, this refers to the actual condition of the body, and it includes our physical fitness, nutrition, and the ability to prevent and manage and recover from illness. So imagine that your mind and your body are teammates on the same sports team, right? So they're constantly communicating with each other to help keep you functioning at your best. And this communication happens through a bunch of complex networks of hormones and nerves. And the brain acts like kind of like the team captain, sending signals throughout the body via the nervous system. And these signals influence everything that happens. So everything from like our heart rate and our digestion to our immune system responses, every little thing, right? So, for example, when you feel stressed out, your brain sends signals that increases your heart rate and your breathing rate in order to prepare you for action, right? So we're going to get to talk about that here in just a minute. But similarly, the body also sends signals back to the brain, right? So it's a two-way communication. So let's talk about that mind-body connection and how it really plays out when we experience some mental health challenges. So one key factor is stress. So when we're stressed, our body activates the fight or flight response system and releases a surge of hormones. And this can really be helpful in short bursts. So like if there were to be like an emergency type of situation and you really need to act fast and with, very rapidly, right? But chronic stress can definitely keep this response going when it's not meant to be. And that ends up leading to problems like a weakened immune system because it makes us more susceptible to illness, increased blood pressure, raising the risk of our heart disease, right? Also, muscle tension as well as headaches. And then beyond the stress, specific mental health conditions can also directly impact our physical health. So, for example, depression can lead to changes in appetite, sleep patterns, and those can be either direction. Either you stop eating and you stop sleeping, or you eat a ton or like everything in sight, or you sleep constantly, right? So, either way, it can also cause fatigue and lack of energy, and also increase your perception of pain. Anxiety disorders, on the other hand, can manifest as digestive issues like a stomach ache or nausea, maybe difficulty breathing or maybe a rapid heartbeat, as well as muscle tension headaches. And sometimes mental health struggles can also lead to unhealthy behaviors that really further compromise our physical health. And these things might kind of look like a poor diet due to maybe a lack of motivation, or maybe you just like comfort eating kind of thing. Like when you're stressed out, you just, grab a bag of chips and kind of shovel it in, right? Maybe you're skipping exercise because you already feel like you don't have any energy, or you already have like a negative self-image, right? And so that just kind of also perpetuates that lack of energy as well by not exercising. While it may feel like doing the actual physical activity, like exercising, will even further deplete your level of energy, in reality, maybe, in that exact moment, yes, you will feel more drained because you just worked out. You just expended a lot of energy in your body. However, over the course of time, your body adjusts to this new stress that is put on it, this exercise, and it actually, in turn, ends up causing you to end up increasing your energy over the course of time, right? And then also, you go work out one time and you're really not going to see any positive changes in the mirror, right? But if you stick with it and you are consistent, even 20 minutes a day, right? 20 minutes a day, working out consistently, you are going to see changes in your body. You're going to see those changes in the mirror, even if you are, not training to run a marathon or something like that, right? It can be, as long as you're being consistent, it can be simple things that don't have to be these crazy, like bodybuilder type of activities, right? And then also you end up with harmful coping mechanisms, things like substance abuse, whether that's drugs or alcohol, right? Even sugar, actually, in my opinion, could be considered in this harmful coping mechanism category with the harmful substances, because sugar just perpetuates a cycle of inflammation in your body and just really kind of starts to wreak havoc on everything. And so these behaviors really create that vicious cycle, worsening both your mental and your physical health. So as you can see, really taking care of that mental health is absolutely crucial for our overall well-being. And just like you wouldn't ignore like a physical ailment, say you slice your arm and you need stitches, right? You're not going to ignore that. You're going to go to the emergency room and get stitches, right? Same thing. You should not be hesitating to seek help for your mental health concerns as well, because these, definitely can start a cycle of spiraling. And there are a lot of resources available. You can talk to therapists, counselors, support groups. You can talk to me if you feel like if that would be helpful for you. Absolutely. Now, I am not a trained psychologist. However, some days I feel like I serve that purpose. So anyway, taking those first steps really can significantly improve your quality of life, both physically and mentally. I myself was on that path to a pretty significant mental health decline a couple of years ago, just with overloading stress, and things just were like piled and piled and piled. And it got to the point where, my husband was out of town for work. I was trying to get my children ready in the morning to go to school. They were not listening to a word that came out of my mouth. And I was, already started my day at a simmer, right? And that was just not healthy. And it got to the point where I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs to try to get my children to listen to anything that came out of my mouth. And even after I dropped them off at school that day, it took me an hour and a half to calm my body down from that level of stress and negative energy. And that was my absolute breaking point. I literally called a therapist that morning and was like, "Can you get me in this afternoon?" And somehow they ended up being able to work me in that day, because, I had literally hit rock bottom. I think that my level of anger that morning and my screaming scared my children, and that is not okay, right? And so since then, I have been making significant strides. I've worked with a therapist for over a year now, and really focused on that mental health to really get better coping strategies and work on my own like mental things that I've got going on, because at the end of the day, what's going on in my brain, I was projecting that out onto my children. And that's not their fault, right? That's not their crap to deal with. That's my crap to deal with, right? And so really getting all of these stress mechanisms and all of that stuff that, that conditioning and things under control can make a massive difference in your life, both mentally and physically. So since then, my heart rate is lower than it used to be. My blood pressure is lower than it used to be. And so, you can just see those physical, tangible numbers, those objective measures on what it has done for me, physically speaking, right? And so I just really want to stress to you guys to get the help that you need and really focus on that mental health, because it's not only just going to help you physically, it's going to improve your overall sense of well-being, and also helps to keep you motivated to be moving in a forward direction. So if you guys do have any questions about anything that we talked about today, do let me know. You can always post a comment in the below the video here. That's fine. You can also send me a direct message. You can put a separate post in the group. Either way, just let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon.